Okay, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about scientific notation. So the current population of the world is something like 7,600,000,000. That's a really annoying number to write out, and so I would like to write it as some simpler number times the power of 10. And in particular, it's going to be 7.6 times a power of 10. And in order to figure out which power of 10, you just think about, well, if you multiply by 10, you move the decimal point, and we just have to count how many times did the decimal point move. So let's see, if we're putting a decimal point here, it's going to have to move 9 times. So 7.6 times 10 to the 9 should be the same as this number. That is a big number, and so it makes sense that I would use a big exponent, so a positive exponent. If I was using a calculator, keep in mind that your calculator, a lot of times for really large numbers, is going to have the same problem. It's going to rewrite this as 7.6 capital E 9. So just be aware, sometimes your calculator will spit out answers that look like gobbledygook random decimals. If it's got an E in it, it probably means it's a gobbledygook gigantic number. So just be a little careful there. On the other hand, if I had a very small number, so like 0.00000017, I could put that in scientific notation. And our default is to always make sure that the number up front is somewhere between 1 and 10. So it's a 1-digit number in front of the decimal point, which basically means you're going to move the period until it's after the first non-zero number. So in this case, again, just count how many times we're going to have to move the decimal point. We're going to have to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And so this would be 1.7. And then I'm multiplying it by 10 to the 6th. This doesn't look right though, because multiplying by 10 to the 9th would give me a gigantic number. Multiplying by 10 to the 6th would give me a gigantic number. That's not gigantic, that's a very tiny number. So probably this should be a negative exponent. We're actually dividing by 10 to the 6th, or we're multiplying by its reciprocal. Again, your calculator would write this as 1.7 e negative 6. I'm realizing now that my multiplications and my periods look too much alike, so let's rewrite multiplication at the start. Okay, we also need to be able to convert the other way around. If I give you a number in scientific notation, or if your calculator spits out an answer in scientific notation, we have to be able to turn it back. And so, let's see, 4.713 times 10 to the 5th. That's a positive exponent, which means a big number, so we should be moving the decimal point in the direction that makes it into a bigger number. So we're going to be moving it 5 times in that direction. So 4.713, and we're moving the decimal point 5 times, which means I need to stick 2 more zeros for the period finally ends up after that. So that would be, what, 471,000. I guess we could put a comma right there. Okay, let's try another one. Same story. We're going to move the decimal point 7 times, only since this is a negative exponent, that means we're going to turn it into a small number. And so we're expecting, instead of moving the decimal point to the right and making it 2 million or something like that, we're going to move the decimal point to the left and make it 0.00000, and then eventually a 2. So let's see, this time I'm going to put the 2034 on the right, and I'm moving the decimal point 7 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I totally planned that out ahead of time. Okay, so let's double check that I moved 7 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there is 2.034 times 10 to the minus 7. Obviously, scientific notation is going to be a little easier to work with. It's also going to be a little bit easier for us to figure out, if two numbers are bigger or smaller than each other, then staring at two numbers like 0.0000002034 versus 0.00000017. I don't know which one of those is bigger. It's too many zeros. If I stare at these though, this has a bigger negative exponent, so probably that means it's even smaller than the one with a -6 exponent.